Today in this video we'll talk about macro functions in SAS. Okay, I'll explain you with interview question as well. You can see the interview questions in what type they might ask these questions. Okay, so this is an interview question. What is the purpose of percentage eval in macro? So this is my first function, macro function percentage eval. So what is the purpose of this percentage eval in macro? Okay, we'll discuss today. We can perform integer arithmetic operations and logical operations as well we can perform, okay, on macro variables. It will returns integer results only used for integer calculation. Okay, see, these are the arithmetic operations we will use: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus. Okay, so here you can see each and every macro variable prefix with and percent variable 1 plus and percent variable 2 means we are adding the two variables. Okay, we are adding the two variables here, we are subtracting the two variables here, we are multiplying, we will use star for multiplication, we are dividing. Okay, we are using slash. Okay, we are dividing these two variables. Here we are using modulus. Okay, so syntax: percentage eval, open parenthesis. Okay, you have to open and close this parenthesis. Okay, within the parenthesis you will use expression. Expression is nothing but it is an integer arithmetic operation. So you can use any of the expression from, okay, here. Okay, suppose you want to add two variables, then you can use addition arithmetic operation. So this is about percentage eval. Now we will talk about, this is my second function, percentage syseval f. F is nothing but floating point. When our numbers are having floating point, so at that time we will use this. So you can see the interview questions here. How do you perform floating point arithmetic in SAS macro language? By using percentage syseval f. And what is the difference between percentage eval and percentage syseval f? So first we will see what is percentage syseval f. We can perform floating point arithmetic. So when there is a point in numbers, at that time we will use this. Okay, it returns decimal result. Okay, used for decimal calculations. You can see the syntax here, percentage syseval f. Okay, in the parenthesis we use expression. So which expression we will use? Floating point arithmetic operations expression only we will use. We will talk about the difference between percentage eval and percentage syseval f. So here performs integer arithmetic operation. Okay, here percentage syseval f performs floating point arithmetic operation and it returns integer results. Okay, it returns integer results, it returns decimal result. Here used for integer calculation, used for decimal calculations. Now next function we will talk about how to delete a macro variables. Okay, by using percentage symdel. This is symdel function, means we can delete a macro variables. Okay, by using the symdel function. Okay, so in macros we can delete macro variables by using percentage symdel function. Okay, so here percentage symdel is used to delete a macro variable. What it will do? Percentage symdel is used to delete a macro variable. After deletion, the macro variable is no longer available for use. In interview they might ask after deletion what it will display in the log window, means the macro variable is no longer available for the use. Okay, if it's deleted, SAS will generate an error. Okay, if it is deleted, if the variable if the macro variable is deleted, SAS will generate an error. And you can see the syntax here, percentage symdel. Okay, macro variable name semicolon. And here another syntax why I am using means, can we delete multiple macro variables at once? Yes, we can delete multiple macro variables at once by using, okay, spaces in between the variables. Okay, we have to give the spaces between the variables. you can see var1, var2, var3 here with spaces. So this is about symdel function. Next is, what is the purpose of percentage sys function in SAS macro language? So this is another function, percentage sys function. It is a powerful function in macro. Okay, it allows to call base SAS functions. Okay, in base SAS we have functions, no? It allows to call base SAS functions within a macro, enabling dynamic data manipulation and processing. Without using percentage sys SAS function, what it will happen? They might ask you this question as well. So without using percentage sys function, we can't able to resolve the base SAS functions inside the macros. This answer you have to give. And you can see the syntax here, percentage sys function. Okay, open parenthesis, you have to give the function name here, then argument. Okay, within the parenthesis, okay, you have to give argument, then close the parenthesis, semicolon. So you can see the example here, percentage sys function date we are using here time, so returns the current date, returns the current time. So next function is substr function. So it extracts a substring from macro variable. You can see here syntax as well, percentage substr, argument comma position comma length. This is a syntax. Okay, argument means it extracts a string. Okay, this is the specifies position, specifies the starting position, and it length is nothing but defines the length of a string. Okay, so next is nothing but scan function, extracts a word from a string based on a specified delimiter. You can see the syntax, percentage scan, argument comma n comma delimiters. This is optional. Okay, semicolon. Then percentage index. So what is the purpose of percentage index? Means it finds the position of substring within a string. You can see the syntax, percentage index, argument comma substring. Next is length. Length function returns the length of a macro variable. Okay, so syntax, percentage length, argument. In the parenthesis you will use argument, semicolon. Then percentage upcase converts the text into uppercase. Okay, all the letters are converted to capital letters. Yes, syntax, percentage upcase, argument, semicolon. Percentage lowcase function is nothing but converts the text to lowercase. So it will convert the alphabets into small letters. Okay, syntax, percentage lowcase, argument, semicolon. So these functions we have already learned in base SAS. Okay, these functions we have already learned in base SAS, so it will be easy for you. Okay, if you do more practice. Okay, they might ask you what is the purpose of percentage substr, percentage scan, percentage index function, length function, upcase, lowcase function. Means you can give the answers like this, and real-time scenarios also you have to explain, and that I will explain you right now in my SAS software. Okay, so these are the 10 functions, okay, that we are using in macro. Okay, first we will talk about eval function in macros. Okay, so here I am typing here percentage let. Okay, x is my macro variable name, is equals to, I'm giving value as 10, semicolon. Okay, this percentage let statement is used to assign a value to a macro variable. So here x is my macro variable, 10 is value, percentage let y is equals to 20, semicolon. So what is my macro variable? Another macro variable here, y is my macro variable. Okay, and I'm using percentage let statement, which is nothing but it is used to assign a value is nothing but 20 to my macro variable. What is my macro variable here? Y. Clear this point? Okay, so I have given x as 10, y as 20. Now percentage let sum is equals to so here I want to add these both values. So what is my macro variable here? X. So here and percent x plus and percent y. Each and every macro variable prefix with and percent. Variable is nothing but a column in base as you have learnt. Okay, macro variable means we have to give and percent to this variable, then only it will become a macro variable. Okay, otherwise x plus y means it is a base as code, right? So if you give and percent, then it is named as a macro variable here. Clear? So here sum and percent x plus and percent y semicolon. Okay, and percentage, I am printing this. So this is my new macro variable, that is nothing but sum here. Okay, so I am adding these two variables. Okay, so percentage put statement, it's nothing but it prints the value of the macro variable sum to the SAS log. So percentage put, and here, so what is my macro variable, last new macro variable? So I want to add these two variables, right? So for that I'm taking the and percent sum. Percentage put is used for printing purpose. Okay, what is my macro variable, which macro variable I have used? This sum macro variable, because I want the total of these two macro variables, okay, 10 and 20. So when I execute this, what it will give? And percent x plus and percent y. Okay, when I'm adding this, what it will give? 30. I think you're guessing 30, but it will not print like that. It will print you 10 plus 20 only, because we have to use a function that is nothing but eval function. So it is displaying 10 plus 20 only. So we have to use here eval function. Without eval function we can't, so we can't add two numbers. It will give you 10 plus 20 only. So here I am using eval, percentage eval, use percentage eval before it. Okay, so open parenthesis, close this parenthesis. So I have given open parenthesis and closed parenthesis here. So percentage eval, and this is nothing but expression. Which expression we are using? Integer expression only. So arithmetic, integer arithmetic operation only we are using. So here you can see only numbers, there is no points here. So when I execute this, so what it will display? 10 plus 20 is what? 30. So you can see here 30. Clear? So previous thing, it is displayed, it has a 10 plus 20, but now it is displaying 30. Clear? So percentage eval is used, okay, to perform arithmetic as well as logical operations. Okay, so it's clear for you. So see this question, write a macro that uses percentage eval to calculate the sum of two macro variables. We have to use a macro here, write a macro they are saying. So this is, the above one is a simple code. Okay, so here write a macro that uses percentage eval. So here macro begins with the percentage macro. Okay, and macro variable name I am giving as a result. Okay, open parenthesis, in this one I am giving two variables a and b. Okay, a comma b semicolon. Percentage let, I want to add these two a and b variables, right? So what I have to use here? Percentage eval. Okay, then open parenthesis and percent, what is my macro variable here? A, right? A. Okay, plus what it is asking? Sum of two macro variables. They might ask you a product of two macro variables also. Okay, so based on the question we have to give the answer. So here and percent a plus and percent b semicolon, then percentage put, we need to print which macro variable? Sum, right? So you have to give and percent, then sum semicolon, then macro ends with m end, so macro end, so percentage m end semicolon, percentage result. So here you can see this is my macro variable name, you have to give this here. Okay, then in the parenthesis what you have to use? in the parenthesis we have to give the values here. So I am giving value of A as a 20 and value of B as a 30. Okay, semicolon. Clear? So in this way we can use you can show this example, okay, when they ask you to write a macro by using this percentage eval, okay, to calculate the sum of two macro variables. So easily we have used only one let statement and one put statement, and macro statement we have given one macro variable name as a result. Okay, so here A comma B. So in the last we have given so macro variable name and the values of the A and B, 20 comma 30. So when I execute this, what it will give? 20 plus 30, what it will give you? 50, right? You can see here 50. Clear? So it is displaying as a 50, right? So this is how it will give you the result. So we can see the results in our log window only. Clear? So this is about the macro. So you can see the question here, how would you use percentage eval to evaluate a logical expression? So how we will use a logical expression in SAS macro? Percentage let x is equals to, I am giving 20, percentage let y is equals to 5 semicolon. So percentage let. So how would you use a percentage eval to evaluate a logical expression in SAS macro? I am using a logical operation that x is greater than y. Et I am giving greater than is equals to percentage eval. Okay, then open parenthesis, in this and %x greater than and %y. So when I use this, what it will give? Percentage put, I am using for printing purpose, put and %gt. What is my macro variable? gt only, no? We have derived the expression here. Okay, so semicolon. So what will happen? 20 greater than y it will give. If it is true, if x is greater than y, tell me x is greater than y. Here x value is 20, y value is 5. So tell me that x is greater than y or not. You will agree or not? Yes, x is greater than y. So it will give 20 greater than 5 or true or 1 or 0. So what it will give? When the condition is true, it will give you 1. When the condition is false, it will give you 0. So now let me know, 1 or 0, what is my answer? 1. See here, you can see 1 here. Clear? So it is displaying 1 here. Yes. Suppose here 2, okay, and here my x value is 2 and y value is 5. Now tell me, now here my condition is and %x greater than and %y. What it will display? 1 or 0? This condition is true or false? First let me know. So 2 is small value, right? So this one 5 is greater than. So here what is the condition? So 2 is less than 5, no, but here 2 is greater than 5 it is showing. So what will be our answer? Our answer will be 0 because 2 is less than 5, but here condition 2 is greater than 5 it is displaying. So you can see here it will display you 0 here. Okay, suppose you want to do in a macro, then what? This one I'll copy. Let me know quickly. In macro how we will do? Yes, macro begins with a percentage macro. Okay, and lt I'll give macro variable name. Okay, then open parenthesis x comma y semicolon. Macro ends with the m end, percentage m end semicolon. And here percentage, what is my macro variable here? lt. So lt open parenthesis, here give the value here 3, 4. will it give 0 or 1? Let me know. So it will give 0 or 1. So value 3, 4. 3 greater than 4? No. So it will give you 0 here. So when I execute, you can see 3, 4. This is my code, no? So you can see the 0 here. Clear? You can do in macros as well. You can show your logic expression in macros also. Give the real-time examples, real-time scenarios over here. Okay. Now you can see here. Can you give an example of using percentage eval in SAS macro program? I have already explained, begins with a percentage macro, and this is my macro variable name. So in real time, you can give a real-time example like this as well. Calculate underscore product. So these are my two products, A comma B. Percentage let product is equals to percentage eval. So here what I am using, star is used for multiplication. So I am multiplying these two products. Okay. So percentage put, and this is my macro variable. So percent product. So here product column is nothing but in the log it will display product column. Okay. And what is my and percent A 10 and percent B 5. 10 5s are 50. So it will display you in the output product column 10 into 5 is 50. So 50. So it will display this as well in your log window. If you want to display like this, you can use it. So next, it ends with the macro end, right? Percentage, this is my macro variable, I am using this, and open parenthesis, I am giving the value here 10 comma 5. So when I execute this, what it will display in the log window, what it will display, product 50. If you want to see product as well as 50, then you can use product column. Okay, so easy, no? So you can use any arithmetic operation. Suppose I want to do division, then 10 divided by 5, what will be the answer? 2, no? So you can see here product is 2. So if you want to subtract, use minus instead of by. I am using minus here, you can see. So 10 minus 5 is what? 5. So it is displaying 5 here. Clear? So next, what happens if you pass invalid arguments? How would you handle errors? See, simple. Suppose I am copying this above data. Simple data shall I copy? Yes. So here only I will explain how to handle errors. Means I am copying this. Okay. I am using this floating point numbers here. So here also. So you can see my x macro variable contains the value 10.55 and here y value contains 20.34. Okay, I want to add both. So will it give the exact result when I execute this? So go to log. When I execute this, you can see here a character operand was found in percentage eval or percentage if condition where a numeric operand is required. The condition is this one they are saying. So it will throw you an error. So when we are using floating point numbers, it definitely throw the error. That thing I'll definitely I'll notice. First you have to say like that. Okay, so how would you handle errors? Means if a floating point number is there, we should not use percentage eval. Okay, and we have to use only integers. So when I execute only integers, it will give you the output. Okay, when we execute when we use integer arithmetic operation only, it will give you the result. Otherwise, if there is a floating point number, it will throw the error. So you got an idea about when we will use eval, when there is only integer, when only we have to use eval. Now when there is a floating point number, at that time we have to use percentage syseval f. So when there is a floating point number, you can see here we have floating point. This is nothing but floating point arithmetic operation. So here at that time, so the same code whatever we have used for eval, everything is same. So let my x value is 10.5, let y macro variable value is 3.2, and percentage let result, this is my macro variable name, is equals to, instead of eval we are using percentage syseval f, and we are using in the parenthesis Okay, we are using this expression and %x plus and %y, means we are adding these two floating point numbers. So and percentage put is used for printing purpose, and we have used this macro variable name here. Clear? When I execute this, you can see here output 13.7. okay, so you can see the output here 13.7. so when there is a floating point number, we will use %syseval. When there is integer, we have to use eval function. Okay, so it is used for decimal calculation, and then eval is used for integer calculation. Okay, so this is the difference. Okay, not big difference, it's a small difference only, you can easily understand. Next is, just read the question. Write a macro that uses %syseval to calculate the average of two decimal numbers. So to calculate the average of two decimal numbers, so here it is displaying decimal numbers. Okay, so at the time only we will use this, no? So how to do this? In macro, we have to do this code in macro. So macro begins with a percentage macro, and my macro variable name I have given here is nothing but calculate _ average. Otherwise you can give avg, average. Here also you can give and %avg. okay, so no need to use dot. If you want to use dot, you can use it, but see here, so I have given values x and y here, then percentage let, and my macro variable name I am giving as a average is equals to, I am using %syseval f, then open parenthesis. Okay, here I am closing. So average means we have to add these two macro variable within the parenthesis, and we have to use this by slash. Okay, so if you want to display average in the log, you can use average column, otherwise no need. So I don't want, I want my code to be simple. So here and here also, whatever I have used the macro variable, so my macro begins with macro, and macro ends with end, macro end, percentage macro end. So here instead of this, what I have used, avg, right, avg. So here, sorry, here in the put, what macro variable name we have to give? This, no, average. So I have made a small mistake over here. So see that this macro variable name you have to use at the end. Okay, whatever you are using macro variable of let statement, you have to use in the put statement. Clear? So when I execute this, it will give you the average result. So when I execute this, you can see here 6.85. it is displaying floating point numbers only. Can you give an example of using %syseval in a real world scenario? Okay, you can see here, such as financial calculations or data analysis. You can see here percentage let price is equals to, so this is my price. Okay, and tax rate also you can see 0.08. okay, so macro variable name is price here, here tax rate. Okay, and here percentage let tax _ amount, so my macro variable name is this. Okay, is equals to, I have used %syseval because these are the floating point numbers, right? So okay, in parenthesis and %, this is my price, this is my first macro variable, then I am multiplying by using this star. Okay, and then and %tax _ rate semicolon. So this is my macro variable name, second macro variable name. So here I'm multiplying this both values. Okay, by using %syseval function. So for printing purpose, I'll use percentage put tax amount colon. Okay, so I want to display this tax amount in my log window. So at the time you can use this. Okay, then and %, what macro variable name we have to use? This here. Okay, so this I'm removing. Okay, when I execute this, you can see tax amount is 8.0792. Clear? This is my taxed amount. So this is about syseval f. Okay, so here you can see percentage substr function is used to extract a substring from a macro variable. So you can see percentage let, and my macro variable name is equals to, you can see, John Doe. Okay, here name is John Doe semicolon, then percentage let substring, I'm giving another macro variable name, okay, substring, is equals to percentage substr function I'm using here. So see here, this is my name. Okay, I don't want to print this DOE, I want to print only John. Then first here in the parenthesis we will use this macro variable name. So what is my macro variable name here? Ampersand name, okay, comma, and you can see the starting position we have to, so argument is nothing but a macro variable. So here we have to give ampersand, then what is my macro variable? Name, then comma, starting position we have to give here, my starting position is 1, comma, and here 1, no, 1, 2, 3, 4. So till John, till n only I want to print, so 4 we will use. So in the output it will print in the output as a John. So when I execute this, okay, percentage put is used for printing purpose. So my macro variable name, so wherever I have used this function, that macro variable only we have to use here. So when I execute this, so here it will display as a John. Clear? Next, this is about substr. Now we will talk about scan function. So you can say scan function is used to extract a word from a string. So percentage let colors, okay, my macro variable name is color here, and value is red and green. I'm using red, green. If you want to use another color, then I'm using pink here. So percentage let, okay, second color, percentage let, I'm using this second color, this is my macro variable name, is equals to, I'm using the scan function here. In the parenthesis first we have to use this macro variable, Control C, then ampersand, you have to use each and every macro variable prefix with ampersand, okay, then comma. And so I want to display pink color, only pink color, okay. So what is scan function? Percentage scan function extracts a word from a string. So here this is my color, so I want to display pink color. So this is first color, this is second color, this is third color. So red is, will count like this, red color we will count as 1, green color will count as 2, and pink color will count as 3. So color comma 3. So which color it will print? Pink color. So when I execute this, it will print pink color. Okay, so next function is index function, finds the position of a substring within a string. So here you can see percentage let, text is my macro variable name, and hello world is my value. Here you can see hello world. So percentage let position is my macro variable name, is equals to, this is my index, percentage index function, in parenthesis first thing we have to use ampersand, what is my macro variable name, that I am giving here. Clear? So comma, then I want the position, starting position of this world. So what it will give? See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it should display 7. Okay, I want to display world starting position. So I am using this world. I don't know what is the starting position of this world. So when I execute this, it will display the position of the value. So when I execute this, it will display the position of the value. In the log window you can see 7 it is displaying. Clear? Now length function is very easy here. Percentage length function is very easy. Just it returns the length of the macro variable. I want the length of this name. Okay, so what is the length? By seeing this we can say 1 2. Okay, count from here 1 2 3 4. Okay, so it will display the length as a 4. Okay, so here percentage let, name is my macro variable, is equals to John. Percentage let, length is my another macro variable here. So I have used percentage length. In the parenthesis I have used ampersand name. Only I am using ampersand name. It will display the length of the value. So when there is a big name, at that time you can use the length function and you can see the length of the name. Okay, so by using this percentage length function, so here I am printing, here percentage put is used to print the length. It will display length as 4. Okay, so when I execute this, you can see in the log window it is displaying the length as 4. Okay, now next function is upcase function. Okay, converts the text into uppercase. Here everything is same. Okay, here John is in lowercase, small letters, right? And you can see this is name is my macro variable and uppercase name is my another macro variable name. Okay, here I have used upcase, percentage upcase function. In this I have used only this ampersand macro variable, that is nothing but name. So it will convert this John into uppercase. It will convert this name into uppercase. So you can see John in uppercase letters. When I execute this, you can see John in uppercase. Here you can see John is in uppercase. Now you want to convert in lowercase. Simple, you have to use percentage lowercase. Okay, and person name semicolon. So when I execute this, you can see here John in lowercase. Clear? So these are the 10 functions. You can see the interview questions here. See the first question, what is the purpose of percentage eval function in macro? You have to say the answer for that. Write a macro that uses percentage eval to calculate sum of two macro variables. Okay, then give example of percentage eval to calculate logical expressions as macro program. Okay, what happens if you pass invalid arguments to percentage eval? How would you handle errors? I have explained all these questions. Okay, how do you perform floating point arithmetic in SAS macro? Write a macro that uses percentage syseval to calculate average of two decimal numbers. Give example in real-time scenario. So difference between percentage eval and percentage syseval. Okay, how to delete macro variables? What happens to a macro variable after it is deleted? Okay, can we use percentage symdel to delete multiple macro variables at once? How would you verify that a macro variable has been successfully deleted using percentage symdel? What is the purpose of percentage sys function? Give real-time example. Okay, what is the purpose of percentage substr, percentage scan, percentage index, percentage length, percentage upcase, percentage lowcase functions? So I have covered all these questions. I have given you the answers as well. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, and in my description box I'll send you the code as well. Whatever code I have used, you can copy and paste it in your software. We have completely covered this macro functions topic. Thank you for watching.